This episode is brought to you by Muntins Malts, a company that is passionate about providing premium malts to brewers worldwide. For over a century, Muntins has been a leading supplier of brewing and distilling malts, offering the finest British malted barley on the market. You can experience the difference Muntins offers by joining a recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club, because every kit that ships out now includes premium Muntins malt. You know, we've known the Muntins crew for a long time, and I can tell you, friend, you're going to love brewing with their grains. Ask your local supply shop to carry Muntins malts, or homebrewers can join our Trub Club at homebrewhappyhour.com/club, be a part of the community, and come brew with us. Thank you, Muntins, for supporting our efforts and homebrewers worldwide. Today's show is brought to you by Hopsdirect.com. Grown in the esteemed Yakima Valley on the Pewterball family farm, Hopsdirect.com offers the widest variety of hops available online at incredibly competitive pricing. It's simple. They grow hops, they sell hops, and they ship hops straight from their family-owned farm to your doorstep. Producing the highest quality hops is Hopsdirect.com's passion, and they're proud to be an independent grower in the craft beer industry. Go to Hopsdirect.com right now and get what you need to make your brew day better. That's Hopsdirect.com. Today's show is brought to you by Imperial Yeast. You hear us gushing over Imperial Yeast all the time, and that's because their yeast performs for us in every batch that we brew. Imperial Yeast is adored by commercial breweries and home brewers alike. Their pitch-right pouches are jam-packed with over 200 billion fresh yeast cells, guaranteed to deliver flawless, fast fermentations every time. Imperial Yeast strains are grown by a team of pro brewers and home brewers who live to help other brewers learn more and ferment better. Join any recipe receiving tier of our Trub Club and get a free upgrade to premium Imperial Yeast with every recipe kit that ships out to you. Learn more at homebrewhappyhour.com/club and come brew with us.
Entertaining shows with content that spreads information and sparks discourse throughout the community. This is the Pearl Media Network.
What upgrades to spend my money on, what to do when fermentation stalls out, and bottling versus kegging. This is Homebrew Happy Hour, episode 460. Well, hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. This is the show where we supply the answers to your homebrewing questions and discuss all things related to craft beer. And if you, my friend, have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, of course you could go to homebrewhappyhour.com. That's submit a question link at the top of the page. You could email joshua@homebrewhappyhour.com. Even better, why don't you go ahead? Why don't you call it in? Let me see if I can. Oh, there I am. To 325-305-6107. When I use your voicemail on a future episode, get yourself a gift card to kegconnection.com. It does not get much better than that, except it does, because it's another week and another episode. I'm one of your hosts, Joshua Stubing, joined as always by the Director of Operations at cmbecker.com over there, Mr. James Carlson, as well as the President and Chief Keg Washer of kegconnection.com, Mr. Todd Burns. Gentlemen, welcome back. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year!
Oh, it is the first episode of you guys on the show in the new year. I did a solo one last week, and I know, James, you always say that you're always available, whatever, and I believe you. I just didn't want to bug y'all during the holiday, and I thought I'm going to record it real quick. I'm just going to get it done. I'm going to recap the recipes my pop and I brewed, and then the gear we brewed on, and maybe some brew resolutions real quick. It'll be like a 30-minute episode. It was like an hour and 20 minutes. I talked.
Oh, so sorry I missed that.
Can y'all imagine how bad?
I just would like to apologize to our audience.
Can you imagine how bad I am when nobody's on here to rein me in? I didn't think I could talk like that, but I underestimated myself, and it turns out I can talk. And but I did a whole recap. It was fun. I do want to start the show off by asking, I want to put you, Johnny, on the spot first. You, Mr. Burns, 2025, I can count on one hand how many times you brewed. In fact, I could cut off a couple of fingers and still be able to count how many times that you brewed in 2025. Tell me, 2026, I know you're doing dry January. You can still brew because the beer
to cold condition until you're not doing dry.
Well, I don't ever drink it for a month anyway.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So please tell me you're going to brew more in 2026.
Yeah, I am. I will brew more in 2026. I got to brew my wife a beer. I got to brew several beers. So
yeah, you do. And James, do you have any brew year resolutions? More pills, more. I don't know.
More of the good stuff.
More of the good stuff. I'll say, James, you probably. I'm gonna guess. We haven't talked about it before. I bet you brewed at least 9 batches in 2025. If I. Right? I mean, I feel like you were almost matching my pop and there was like maybe a month or 2 you didn't. So I'd say 10 comfortably that you probably brewed. And of all those, I think the most experimental, didn't you do a dry hop pills on one of those, or was that a couple years ago? I forget when you did the dry hop pills.
Yeah, I definitely did do a dry hop pills, but I did an IPA.
That's what you did. That's right. You did the accidental IPA, wasn't it? Or
yeah, I did a IPL actually. I did a lager, a hoppy lager.
That's right. I forget. That is what I'm thinking of for 2025. That you went in and
Citra. I dry hopped it with Citra hops.
Yeah, and if I recall correctly, Todd loved it. That batch turned out great.
One of my good friends said it was one of the best beers he's had from me. So I said, well, that's good because I'm not brewing it ever again.
I was just about to say, was that a backhanded compliment? He knows you, like James. You know all those.
No, he was dead. He was dead serious. I mean, he took a drink and he stopped. You could see him processing it, and he took another one, and then he told me that, and I thought, wow,
dude,
I don't think I've ever had anybody say that to him.
That's fantastic.
It was nice.
Yeah, the beer that my pop and I brewed most recent, I'm kegging this evening, that Belgian triple. Todd, I'll have a $5 to bring up there, and James, if my pop and I don't like it, I'll have a $5 to bring up there for you. No, but that is a style. I tasted it when I was doing gravity testing. I will say, surprisingly smooth, not nearly as astringent as I thought it would be.
Don't know weird banana flavors. Or
not overly. It is. Yeah. It's obvious. Yeah, it's obviously a Belgian. So I don't know, like how quick a 5-gallon keg is going to go in our house, but it also finished at 9.05 or 9.15. It packs a punch. It packs a punch. So let me get through some small talk real quick. And then we'll get on to the questions. I brought a lot of good questions for the show today. My friends, if you were a recipient of the December kit, those went out, shipped them to y'all on Tuesday of this week. And then we have decided on what we're going to do for January of 2026. First, let me lay out the premise of what I've talked about on the show and on Brew Day Lives. I had an idea in September, and I've started reaching out to people in September. In 2026, I'm going to do a commercial clone every month and showcase that craft brewery, that flagship beer. And I want to interview the head brewer or somebody from the company to talk about the history of the brewery and what makes that batch special, yada, yada, yada. And I started reaching out to 10 or 12 different breweries, and 0 have gotten back to me since September. And I'm not necessarily as squeaky of a wheel as Todd always tells me to be. He's like, oh, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. But I'm following. Todd, you saw me try in the office in person. I'm trying. And getting breweries, and these are craft breweries. They're not macros. They're not like 10 billion people employed. Like they're craft, whatever the definition of craft is, which I guess scales as Boston beer basically dictates what is the definition of craft from the BA. But either way, I'm trying to reach out, but I had to just make an executive decision. So for the month of January, if you go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour, join a recipe receiving tier, you're getting the Texas Bock. We're starting off strong. It is a Shiner Bock clone, as it says there on the screen on the artwork I came up with. And I'm still fervorously reaching out to Shiner, trying to get an interview to see if, hey, I'd love to do it. Otherwise, maybe I'll just end up doing a episode on my own talking about the beer and all that. So go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour, join a recipe receiving tier. You'll get that. And then Brew Day Live is going to be Friday, January the 23rd, 2026 at 10 a.m. Central, right here at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour. Come brew with my pop and I, and literally, we're trying to get people to come brew with us. Go over to homebrewhappyhour.com. Oh, I forgot what I called it on the top of the page. Just go, you'll see something on the top like brew with us or hang with us. I think I called it brew with us. And I'm going to be taking people, if you want to brew your own batch of whatever on the same day, bring you in for a few minutes and introduce you to the audience and all that through the magic of the interwebs. So go fill out that contact form over at homebrewhappyhour.com. I'll all be set up by the time this publishes, or just tune in for the fun at youtube.com/homebrewhappyhour, 10 a.m. Central, Friday, January the 23rd. Thank you to our sponsors, Muntons Malt, HopsDirect.com, Imperial Yeast, and Monster Brewing Hardware for always supporting the efforts that we are doing here for the hobby of home brewing, and also for the premium ingredients that go into these kits and make them all special. So again, one more time, patreon.com/homebrewhappyhour if you want that Texas Bach shipped to you, my friends. I think that's all the small talk I have. In the new year, cutting it pretty good. Oh, barely 11 minutes into the show, including the ads. Pretty good, if I do say so myself. Let me I added the cheer.
Was that a shower or what?
Anyway, we are getting into the show. I don't need to hear that from you, Todd. We have
that sounded like that was
the gong of questions. We've got 3 great questions for this week, and our first one is a text message from our buddy Brent, and he wrote in, I'm torn between upgrading from my stock kettle and propane setup to an electric system or upgrading my bucket fermenter to a conical. I don't have the budget to upgrade both. What would the pros at Homebrew Happy Hour recommend? The subtle sucking up to us by calling us pros. I like that. That's smooth, Brent. James, I'll throw it to you first. I mean, all 3 of us have brewed on a variety of systems and in different methods. But when you started brewing, you jumped into it on like this gargantuan propane setup and like I'm exaggerating barely, a 5 million gallon stock kettle. And but you've brewed on a bunch, and I know you've settled on Herms, and then you've also fermented a ton of different ways as we have. If you had only the budget for one upgrade on the hot side or on the fermentation side, what are you going with and why?
Well, golly, that's so hard because we're blessed to be able to have both. I'd just have to go with the pressure conical. I think that would be definitely the first thing I'd get, because it allows you to do both lagers and ales, and it's cheaper than going. You could go. I'd say it's cheaper. It depends on where you buy it. If you want to do like the Firmzilla, that's definitely budget friendly. But if I was him, I would go with the conical, like a spike conical that's got pressure fermentation, and get a splitting valve, because I think you'll really like that. I mean, I've really enjoyed pressure fermenting.
And the stainless steel will in theory last you forever. You take care of it. You don't scratch it up and all that. It's definitely more hygienic for the long haul. Todd, again, James, he already said it, but I'll reiterate. We taking our personal anecdotal situations aside, because we are fortunate to have a lot at our fingertips and whatever. But if it was you and you're still fermenting in a bucket and you're still brewing in a turkey burner or whatever, which one is more priority to you for your initial upgrade? Even if the assumption is you're going to upgrade both at some point, but what's your priority upgrade?
The 3-tier brewing system would probably be mine.
You're such a troll, dude. Like,
why am I a troll?
Oh no, okay, no, you're right. 3-tier. You're right. To be fair, you're right. This is my fault. When he said electric system, I conflated that with like a Brewzilla, a Grainfather. You're absolutely right. The ultimate upgrade.
I didn't even mean it as a joke. I was being serious.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. I laugh because I made the mistake of conflating his question of upgrade to one of the more affordable. I mean, because like a Brewzilla or a Mash and Boil or Anvil's, not Crucible. I forgot what they call their all-in-one. We have them too, or we had them. Either way, I conflated that with that because like, what's the Brewzilla? $400? What's the Grainfather G30? $900? What is a 3-vessel? Well, first off, let me do the marketing guy shtick here. Do we still have Brautags? Do we still have them? We could sell a brow tag? Okay, so yeah, the brow tag is the obvious choice, and Todd will tell you why it is, because I don't even know what we sell them for now. Three and some change. $3,500 for the brow tag. Todd, make the case for the $3,500 brow tag for Brent.
I mean, it's I just love to brew on it. It's just like you're brewing on a system. If you were working in a brewery, it's basically the same process. In fact, the last time we brewed in a brewery, we brewed on basically that same system, right?
Yep.
That's a good point.
So
We did.
it's just extremely consistent. So you can do a recipe, brew a beer on it, and then brew exactly the same beer the next time if you follow the same recipe. You're able to really control everything and just, in my mind, brew really, really, really good beer. So
James, I'm gonna make you Johnny on the spot now because you're also a big believer. I want to hear your case as well for the 3-vessel. Like, what else can you add to the conversation of making it worth it to even if he doesn't go with the brow tag? But spoiler, Brent, a 3-vessel of that size is going to be higher than that. Like the brow tag, that is probably the better price you'll get unless if you went with.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's just you have full control of your brewing process. You know, you can step mash, you can mash in the beta, you can mash in the alpha, you can mash out, you can do a first wort hops because you're pulling wort into the boil kettle when you add your hops in. That's what they call that. You know, it's easier to cool down. It's got pumps. It's just the way to go. Plus, when you go into when you pump it into a fermenter, usually you're using a pump. You're not having to use a siphon tube or anything like that. So it's automation for the most part. And another thing too is, especially the brow tag, it's super easy to use.
That was going to be my number one selling point. I was going to add on because neither one of you all touched on that yet. It is very straightforward to use. It is very easy. And I was going to use that. I was not going to make a counter case, but my proposal, let's say Brent has the budget for Herms. Now, the volume won't be there for what I'm suggesting. I guess it could. He could get the G70. I was going to say get the G40 or the G70 because I think that's I think the G70 is 2,200 right now. And then get yourself a Fermzilla, which is a 15.9 gallon. It's a plastic fermenter that can handle pressure. And then bada bing, bada boom, you're good. That's future proofs you for a while. My pop and I used the original Fermzilla we had for like 29 batches before we thought we needed to replace it. And it was retail cost of the whole pressure setup and everything, like $150, $170. That's cheap. If I have to spend $170 every 2 years, that's still cheap for getting pressure controlled fermentation here in my office at room temp. And I would argue my pop and I have been brewing the best beer we've ever brewed in our lives ever since electric brewing and pressure fermentation. So if you have a way, Brent, to combine those two. But yes, the ultimate upgrade on the hot side is obviously a 3-vessel Herms. And I like us pitching that because we will get comments of people like, that's just too much money, or that's not. I love it. It helps the engagement. Like I welcome all those comments of like, here's why you're wrong. Or we'll get people who are like, actually, they're absolutely right. Because think of the guys we had live streamed with. I think his name was Nick, and then we've sold a bunch that we didn't live stream with. The response we got when people got the 3-vessel Herms from us, the brow tag. I mean, it was night and day difference in regards to their attitude towards brewing. They were brewing more. They felt like they were brewing their best beer consistently, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It really is game changing, Brent. And if you get the brow tag and all that set up, I would still recommend getting that affordable Fermzilla just because you don't want to going from James, help me. What's a high-end car? Porsche? You're going from a Porsche and then into a bucket, like into your jalopy or whatever is a low-end car. Now, come on. Yeah, at that point, you do want to upgrade.
You go to a Porsche.
Yeah, exactly. Or at least I would call my Fermzilla. What's a good truck right now? A Toyota Tundra? I don't know. Like Todd, the Dodge Ram. It's the Dodge Ram. Is it flashy? No, not at all. But is it reliable and get the job done affordably? Absolutely. And is Dodge made in America too? They are, right? I think they're made in America. So America.
Mexico or Canada.
I
don't know for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know about Toyota's made in Kentucky, so.
Yeah, and I think I thought San Antonio had a plant, but I don't know the difference between manufacturing and assembly. I really don't. But anyway, Brent, I hope that we were able to help you. I think this is a question, my friends, that will get a lot of comments. So if you're watching at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour, let us know what you would upgrade to if you had to prioritize one, even though I did the cop-out answer of just do both, because if it's in your budget, do it. The Firmzilla is one of my favorite products of the year that we had, and I don't get paid to say that. In fact, our affiliate links for More Beer, I got to write them up again. Didn't work the entire year. Any link I embedded in there, they showed 0 tracking, so I have no idea if anyone, or no one clicked on the links and purchased. That's the only other option, is that the tracking wasn't working, or literally 0 people in 12 months clicked on a single link that I had going over to More Beer, which that could be possible too. But the dozens of people watching the show did not interact. But anyways, like I said, for feedback and all that, or if you think it's worthy of a voicemail and a gift card to kegconnection.com, call it in to 325-305-6107. And if I play it on a future episode, you will get yourself that gift card to kegconnection.com. Moving on to question number 2, kind of flying through them. I like this format. New year, new me. Our second one is an email from our buddy Mark from Asheville, the home of HomebrewCon 2026. Mark from Asheville wrote in, "Hey guys, love the show. Mark from Asheville, and I've got a fermentation head scratcher for you. I'm brewing a high-gravity double IPA, gross, aiming for about 9% ABV. I pitched a healthy starter of US-05, and for the first 3 days, my airlock was humming like a jet engine. On day 4, everything just stopped. No bubbles, and the krausen completely dropped out. I took a gravity reading, and it's sitting at 1028, but my target finish gravity is 1012. I've tried gently swirling the fermenter to rouse the yeast and even bumped the temperature from 68 to 72, but I haven't seen any movement in 48 hours. Am I looking at a stalled fermentation, or is it possible my mash temperature was too high and I've just run out of fermentable sugars? Also, at what point do I risk oxidation if I keep opening the bucket to check on it? Would love to hear your thoughts on whether I should pitch more yeast or just call it a day and keg it as is. Cheers." What a long and great, a lot of detail. I'll say again, for the new year, I took it because that is a good template for people submitting questions. As much detail as possible. He told us what he was brewing. He told us the strain he did. He gave us the details of temperature. We can work with that stuff. James, if you're not reaching your finished gravity, or at what point are you like, whatever, man, it's beer, and if it tastes fine, let's just keg it?
Yeah, I don't think he has to worry about oxidation unless he's, introducing oxygen into the wort because there's a blanket of CO2 on top. But, the problem with high gravity beers, it needs oxygen. And I know when we were doing it on the big system, we actually had an aeration one and oxygen. We never had an issue with that. But that's if you're trying to push the limit on high gravity, you got to have enough yeast numbers, you got to have enough oxygen. You can't have one without the other. And if you have, it sounds like he had enough yeast, he just didn't have enough oxygen for the yeast to continue to consume sugars and finish it out. Give it another week and then test it. And then if it's stalled out, no activity, no change in gravity, you can either dump it or save it and put it in a keg and drink it.
In your
I've been there.
Yeah, I was just say, in your opinion though, that many points, is ABV all that he's really missing from
there's going to be lots of sugar in that.
That's a lot. I mean, wasn't it 20 something?
No,
1028.
Yeah, 16 total point difference from he's sitting at 1028 and he wanted it down to 1012.
I mean, 1028's a lot. Wow.
Yeah, it's all in. I mean,
there's still a lot of sugar in there.
Yeah, and but my point is that there's not enough oxygen in there. It doesn't really matter how much
more
yeast numbers you have in there, because it's still got to be able to breathe the oxygen to eat the sugars.
Yeah,
but I mean, you taste it if you can deal with it, keg it, carbonate it, and drink it. But it'd be hard for me to drink something that sweet. And I hate to be the party pooper on that, but I have done that. Keep in mind, if you're trying to do a big beer, 9%, or I would say anything over 7%, some people would say, James, you really need to introduce oxygen anything over 6. That's something that's really important to think about, because if you're going to plan on doing something big like that, you need to make sure everything's set up right. And you've got to give the yeast every opportunity to consume and to stay healthy and be able to breathe while they're eating. And, that's the biggest problem. That's the reason why I don't really like the big beers, because I like to have more than one.
Yeah.
But just remember, if you're doing anything big like that, you really need to. I don't know, Todd. You've done bigger beers and haven't used oxygen, but you make a point to really make sure you get that splashed and get enough oxygen in there where it can eat the yeast.
Yeah. So now I just basically we take the wort from the last of the 3 vessels, and which is the boil kettle, after we've cooled it down, and we take a hose, and I hold it way up in the air and I shoot it real hard into the fermenter. So it's really hitting that fermenter hard and rolling around and getting lots of oxygen. When I used to do it in a bucket like he's doing it, what I would do is I would turn my spoon that I was stirring with upside down, and I would hit it pretty hard, not so it splashed out, but hard enough to where I was not only pushing the spoon down, but the spoon was getting bubbles in it, and I was pushing that the air down in there and letting it come back up and just really oxygenating the hell out of it. So,
I've seen people. I don't know if it's a tool sold, because I'll make a confession here in a little bit. But that thing that they put on the end of on a drill bit, or on a hand drill, and to rouse it, like if it's pouring into a bucket, and once it's done, they like basically a whisk, but on a like on a DeWalt or something, instead of instead of a KitchenAid or whatever. So I will confess, and knock on wood, it's probably due to our sponsor Imperial Yeast, for why my pop and I have never had any issue these last batches that have been. Our breakfast stout was 10% basically, and this Belgian's over 9. When we dump when we fill our fermenter up and we pitch the yeast, we close it up, and then Muscle Man over here just like doing my workout and shaking it, and that has seemed to be enough for us. But again, that's probably more because what does the pouch say? It's 200 billion cells.
Yeah, 200 billion cells.
That's probably the real reason why we haven't had any issues. It's because we're working with, and if you look at people who are on the Trub Club, the new members especially, is when I love their feedback. They get the pouch and they go, "Oh my God, so this was pouched like 8 days ago." Yeah, guys, Imperial gives us the freshest yeast for the Trub Club. We're not just sitting on it in our walk-in cooler. That's why sometimes they've had to been delayed, because they're like, "Hey, Josh, we're actually not going to be pouching that for another 12 days. And I'm like, "Yeah, I'd rather wait for that than take a 3-month-old pouch or whatever." But anyway, that's probably why my pop and I have lucked out. Yeah, like you said, James, if he's not in a rush, give it more time. In that time, are you doing more of what he's already tried, or are you just leaving it be and seeing? Like, what would you recommend in that time waiting? Like to bump the temperature back down, or to leave it up?
Well, do exactly what he did, rouse the yeast by just gently swirling the fermenter.
Yeah, which he's saying.
You don't want to shake it. You just want to kind of get it. You want to move the wort around without doing this. You just kind of rouse the yeast goes dormant, falls to the bottom of the fermenter.
Yeah,
you just want to move it, agitate it enough to bring it up, and do that every day, twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening.
Yeah,
and just to see if you can get anything started back up again. And if you can't, not a whole lot else you can do.
Yeah, and one thing I'll say too is he did everything right going into it. That, as far as we know, like one of the suggestions we probably would have had is, you could have created a starter the next time. He did that, right? Like, that's recommended when you're doing big beer, is do not underpitch. You're going to have a bad day. It doesn't sound like he did underpitch. Do you think?
No, I think that if I was just a guessing, I'd say it's probably didn't have near enough oxygen in it.
Right. Yeah, I agree with I agree with that premise. Todd, in this situation too, you're just following like what James was saying, or I don't even recall the last time you've ever had a stuck or a stalled fermentation.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, same here. I don't know the last time my pop and I have. We've had delayed where, so again, speaking to how spoiled we are, and this is now turning into just one big Imperial Yeast promotion. You're welcome, Owen. If I don't see activity in 12 hours after I pitch, I'm texting my dad like, "I don't see anything. What's going on? What's wrong?" Because we've had some batches where we pitch at like 1 p.m. and I go to close down my office at like 10 p.m. and I'm starting to see activity. Like y'all, that's happened with y'all too, or at least with Todd, where you pitch in the morning and by that evening you're seeing that imperial yeast go to town. But what's the average start time you think for the average yeast to really kick in? 30 hours post pitch, at least 24.
Yeah, that's not uncommon.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I mean. Like that. He could. I'll just say he could still be having activity, but if the Krausen's all the way out, then activity is pretty much winding down at that point. So yeah, just follow what James said. Give it a week. Keep doing what you're doing, gently rousing and all that jazz. Take a gravity reading every few days. And worst case, keg it as is and call it a day. If you're not in a rush, just keep leaving it in there. But if you are watching at youtube.com/Homebrew Happy Hour and you have a better way or better information from Mark, leave it in the comments below. While you're there, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and whatever comment you want to say. If you want to say, hey, Josh, you're wearing all black again. My wife noticed, she barely watches the show, but she was like, you wear black a lot lately. So you can leave that comment too. Say whatever you want. I told her, leave it in the comments, babe, for the algorithm. Don't tell me in person. Ugh. Comment it at youtube.com/Homebrew Happy Hour. Anyways, guys, I think that we pretty much wrapped up Mark's question, right? I think I'd love to drag it out. The other thing I can say is if we make it to HomebrewCon, Mark, let's meet up. Let's maybe he'll have that beer kegged and we can try it in person. What a very sweet double IPA might taste like. But I am looking forward to hopefully going over there to HomebrewCon. But anyways, thank you, Mark, for submitting that question. Let me get the gong questions one last time because we've got one final question for this week's episode. Our buddy Tyler emailed us and he said, hey fellas, Tyler here, big fan of the podcast. I've been homebrewing for about a year and I've reached a crossroads. I currently bottle everything, but last weekend I spent hours cleaning, sanitizing, filling, and capping bottles of my stout. My back is still killing me. He must be old like you guys. Not to mention, I keep getting inconsistent carbonation. Some bottles are like foam geysers and other are flat as a board. I'm looking at finally taking the plunge into kegging, but I'm a bit intimidated by the cost and the science of it. Between CO2 tanks, regulators, and kegs, I'm looking at a few $100. It might be more than that. My question is, besides the time saved on bottling day, is the beer actually better? Do you guys find that forced carbonating gives a cleaner flavor than bottle conditioning? And for someone on a budget, is it better to buy a kegerator or should I try the DIY keezer route? My wife says if I put another fridge in my garage, it better look good. Cheers and keep up the great work. We might be married to the same person. Even though the collar my pop built on that chest freezer is beautiful. I think it's a work of art, but it is just a fridge with a wood collar. Anyways, another good long question, another good full of details and stuff. He's asking the wrong people because we're very biased. Even if you're brand new to the show is brought to you by kegconnection.com. The president and chief keg washer of Keg Connection LLC. What do you think he's not a chief keg bottle washer rather of Bottle Connection LLC, but Todd, because you are the keg man, I'm going to throw it to you. Make the case for Tyler for why kegging is supreme and bottling is for suckers.
Okay. Well, that whole intro sounded a little biased to me, frankly, but yeah. So I would say this. I still would say there's nothing wrong with bottling. I mean, if you like to wash bottles and get all the cigarette butts and dip spit out of them and everything, that's fine. Yeah. No. So the first time I always love to tell the story. The first time we ever bottled when I was younger than I probably should have been brewing. I think I was about 16. We didn't have any money, so we went to the local bar and dug bottles out of their dumpster. And they literally had cigarettes, dip spit. I mean, it was terrible. And
that's
we cleaned them all out. We put beer in them. So yeah, I've bottled before. Maybe that's why I like kegging so much. I had such a bad experience the first time, right? But I think beer out of a bottle can be very good if everything is done right, and you put the right amount of sugar in there. One of the things I think that happens, it's certainly happened to me, is one thing they do is they give you a lot of kits will give you a bag of sugar, and they say this is good for 5 gallons. And without just thinking about it, you brew a 5-gallon batch, you end up with 4 gallons in your and your fermenter, and then you ferment it down, and then you transfer it, and there's 3.75 gallons, and then you dump that thing of sugar in there, and all your beer becomes overcarbonated because you put too much sugar in, right? So you got to be cognizant of that. But no matter how you do it, you sometimes will get some inconsistencies, and for some reason, you'll get a bomb out of one and you'll get a flat one out of another, and you don't really understand why. So I understand. It makes sense what he's saying, that it's not consistent, because I've seen that as well. What's great about kegging is that you finish fermenting and you transfer from the fermenter to the keg, and basically you're done, right? You don't have to wash all the bottles. You don't have to do all that work. And then you cool it down. You can carbonate it exactly to the carbonation level that you want, that you like, and serve the beer. So, I mean, I don't know other than that how to explain it. It's pretty evident why it works better. Uh, is the beer better? A lot of people say, I love draft beer. Beer's always better when it's draft. I'm biased towards that. I do like draft beer. I enjoy pouring a draft beer and getting the perfect head, and I just like the process and the presentation and everything. So, I think that he was asking about the best way to do it. I think there's 2 ways that I would probably recommend. I would not go to a big box store and buy a kegerator. They're awful. I mean, they're just.
We talked about that recently.
Yeah, I know. We talked about it on a podcast, so I won't go over the whole thing. But the components are of such bad quality that you end up having problems, and then you're like, why did I start kegging? I should have kept bottling. This is terrible, right? So, buy a reputable kit from a good company that's got a good regulator in it. That's real important. Kegconnection.com. I no longer own that, but I sold it to some people I really like, and they still do a fantastic job. More Beer does a good one. I mean, there's people out there that you can get some good equipment from. Get that, and then I think just a refrigerator with the old school freezer on the top, which you can usually pick up fairly inexpensively used somewhere, and you drill a hole in the front. That's the easiest thing you could possibly do to get into kegging. A lot of times you can buy one of those used for, say, less than $100, right?
Craigslist.
And then you're in kegging. A keezer, I love a keezer. I think it looks really nice. You finish out the collar on it. We've got a great video on that on Homebrew Happy Hour website. Yep. And I prefer that, but it is a lot more. It is more work. I don't think it's a lot of work, but it's more work. And you can hold, but it holds a lot of kegs. That's what's nice. Even a fairly small one will typically hold like 3 or 4 kegs, whereas sometimes a stand-up fridge is probably going to hold a couple because of all the shelving and everything that's in there. So to me, those are 2 great options. And I have never in my life, and I'm sure there's somebody out there that'll be on the next episode under the comments calling me an idiot, which is fine. You're not the first person, but I have never talked to anybody in my life that said, I bottled for years and then I started kegging and I didn't like it, so I went back to bottling. I've never heard that.
No, I haven't either. You've been in the age of Keg Connection LLC is 20 years and some change now.
Yep, 20 years.
And in 20 years, I've been with you almost 18. It'll be 18 in May. Never heard that either. Like, I've never heard anyone regret getting into kegging. If anything, what they end up doing is getting a counter pressure bottle filler, or more popularly, the Blickman beer gun, and kegging or bottling off of their kegs. And that's that's like the winning combination. If you're intent on, I want to share bottles, that's always been something I do. Like me, I've been getting my friends those cheap glass growlers off of Amazon to share beer, because I don't even care. Like my pop, I think we still have the Blickman beer gun. I don't even want to do that. I don't want to clean the bottles for them. No, I'll give you a growler. That's easy. rinse it. Sometimes I sanitize it the first time I am pouring into it, obviously. But if I'm like refilling it with them and it's the same beer, I just pour it on top. I don't even bother sanitizing it again. But no, that's the winning combination. I do have a question for you before I throw it to James. Todd, someone did ask me, I uploaded a video. Homebrew Happy Hour is on TikTok, by the way. Believe it or not. Hello, fellow kids. We're on TikTok. Just to try to get more eyes on our content. And I uploaded a video showing off your keezer that we had taken a month or two ago. And someone did ask, what is Todd going to do when he gets old? Not that you're old now, when he gets old, because it's a valid question. The keezer, what does a 5-gallon keg weigh? 50 pounds? 40 something pounds? It's probably 50 something pounds, right? When it's full of beer, pardon me.
That's gonna be around 50.
Right. 50. We can round to 50, plus or minus a few pounds.
48 pounds.
Oh yeah, come on, we're mincing. I don't know the saying, but we're splitting hairs here. But
Milking mice.
Yeah, thank you, milking mice. 2026 resolution, James, is to get one of those things right. I'm gonna go down a rabbit trail and get those right. But anyway,
a dead cat.
Yeah, I'm gonna pet a dead cat. How many more can I mess up? But it is a valid question. Like, I know normally the guy asked me, what is Todd going to do when he gets older? And I'm like, well, what do you mean? When I'm there, Todd makes me lift all the kids in and out, but I'm not always there. The keezer, you do have to think about that long run, that motion, that going over the collar and pulling it up or this or that. Like Todd had said,
my project that weekend will be a little mini crane on wheels that lifts a keg up. And
here's the funny thing. Genetically speaking, like what's in our DNA, Todd's going to outlive me by 30 plus years. So
yeah, I'll probably, when I get so old that I can't lift a keg in, I'll probably get my dad to do it for me.
That's funny because I was gonna say, I should have said Mr. Burns, the father, is gonna outlive me, so I won't always be around. You will have to. It'll be 94-year-old Todd. Like, all right, today on Homebrew Happy Hour, we're lifting this. God, can you think of how insufferable 92-year-old Todd is going to be?
Thank you to our AI host, the former Joshua
that's right.
Stubing.
Oh God, you're right. AI, you won't even be doing it. You'll be matrixed in some pod, living your best life. Yeah.
I'm still going to have you on in AI.
Oh no, you will. You liar. You will not. Yeah. Okay, that sounds insufferable. James, for you,
it's gonna be you like. You'll be like this, leaning up in your coffin doing it in AI.
That's messed up and funny. James, I'm going to make a claim here. I don't believe you've ever bottled in your entire.
I have.
Did you?
I bottled one time, and I said I'll because I kept telling him I'm not bottling. He's come on, I just do it this one time, and I did it, and looked at him in the face and said, I'll never do that ever again.
Was it on a big Bertha batch? So you're bottling like 30 gallons or however many y'all brewed?
No, we just pulled 5 gallons aside to bottle.
And bottle conditioned?
So, I was like, yeah.
Oh.
No, I think it was, it had to have been because it would have been a nightmare to bottle carbonated. So.
And it was bad enough for you to swear it off for the rest of your life. That you'd never
I can understand why some people do it because they just don't have the resources or the space for a kegerator. But if you got the space or the resources or both, definitely
we bottled once, Josh.
We did, and it was your grapefruit pale, and
I still have 2 bottles of it in the fridge.
But they're geysers.
It's got to be 3 or 4 years old. Because it was to the point where every time I don't know why I don't just throw them away. But you know what? I'm going to open one if I ever start drinking.
If the label's not faded, I'll take the under on.
If he ever starts,
if I ever start drinking, because I don't drink.
Oh gosh, shut up! You're insufferable. On your bottle, I think you have the date, dude. I want to say it was 2019. I'll take if I was a betting man, I would take the line under 2021. It was certainly older than 2021.
Wow.
Anyway, again, Tyler, like you're talking to the wrong crew about trying to be unbiased, but for a good reason. We're not pushing KEDs just because that's what the industry, the retail side that we were in for so long. We're pushing them because we believe in.
Yeah, I started kegging before I got into the kegging business.
Right, exactly. That's what I mean. Todd had a kegerator, was homebrewing and kegging well before he started kegconnection.com.
Don't get us wrong. We're not biased against bottling. It's just that bottling sucks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But it was funny. I was thinking as James was talking about the space, do people not realize that the shelves in a fridge come out to make room? If you have room for...
but a lot of times, so you got the shelves, but you've got all that other plastic molded stuff and it sticks in. And that's the reason I was saying sometimes you can't get as many kegs in as you think because of all that.
But I mean,
crap.
I've
actually taken a saw and sawed some of that out before.
But I mean, if Tyler, hypothetically...
His wife wouldn't like to look at that, though.
the hypothetical here, I'm going to just fill in info. He didn't say what batch size. Let's say he's doing 5-gallon batches. The amount of bottles from a 5-gallon batch is 48 as well, right? Isn't it? Like we're talking...
It was 52.
Or 52, pardon me, 52, 53. Yeah. I'll round it to 50 again.
That is assuming you get exactly a 5-gallon batch, which nobody ever does.
Okay, let's just round down to 50. Let's say it's 50-ish bottles. That's a lot of space in a fridge. That's a lot of space to be taken up in a fridge. Convince your wife, Tyler, it sounds like he already has a fridge in his garage, that a ball lock keg is like 8 and some change in diameter inches and like 22 inches tall ish, 22. You could stuff that in there, my friend. Get a little paintball style CO2 and a regulator if you're trying to really conserve space. Hide in the corner. Get the CM Becker flow control vent faucet if your wife doesn't want you drilling through the current fridge, and test drive what it's like to keg. I really think once you get into kegging, it'll snowball and you'll get bit by the bug and be like, why haven't I been doing this my whole life? And if you want to go back to bottling, do whatever you want. You're an adult. We don't care. But we do
always consider the fact that maybe it's not the number of fridges in your garage is the problem. What did you hear the Keith story from this weekend?
I did not.
Oh, I had a visitor that was there, and he was looking at my travel trailer, and he said, a friend of mine, give you the quick version. My friend of mine had one. His wife said it was too small. She was never going camping with him again. So he bought a much bigger one, and he had to buy a brand new truck to tow it. And they went camping one time. And as they were driving back, she said, I've just made a life decision. I don't like camping. I'm never going camping again, after he bought a brand new camper and a brand new truck. And I said, maybe the problem wasn't the camper.
We'll leave it at we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. Yeah, the problem might be something else. Yeah, or someone else. I mean, something else. Yeah.
I'm totally joking. I understand your wife doesn't want your garage cluttered up.
You've made that joke before when I talk about something. Yeah, you're like, maybe Josh, that's not the actual problem. No, and I think if anyone tunes in for Brew Day Live, they know my biggest flex as an adult, as a 40-year-old man now, I have 4 total fridges in my garage. When I was a kid, I always thought people who had a garage fridge at all must be rich. Turns out you don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have to have a lot of money at all. You just... one day I hope to be like...
That's weird. You would think that people that have a lot of fridges and have a fridge in their garage have to be rich. To me, that's like thinking that somebody has a porch couch has to be rich.
or a trampoline in the front yard. They've got money. They have got money. I don't know why. I always thought that. I just thought like, oh my God, these people have a fridge in their garage. And one of my best friends growing up had, do you remember Schwan? The delivery.
Oh yeah.
And they would get Schwan every week and ice cream. And in the summertime, you better believe I knew they were delivering on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. And I was over at Brent Winger's house on the Tuesday when the Schwan man arrived, and like, is there ice cream here? Oh, and the rich people with the garage fridge. I think that's maybe why my pop never had one till I moved out, because he thought he'd have to stuff it with Schwan if he got the garage fridge while I lived there. But now my dad... God, well, nobody has as many fridges as you, Todd. You got, or maybe it's just taps. How many total taps do you have at the ranch now? It's like 14.
No,
6, 7, 8, 9. How many are up top? 2 or 4?
3.
Oh, okay. 3 up top, 6 down there. Oh, but you moved one.
Couldn't be more than 11.
You're right. It's 11 at most. You're right. 11. Yeah. That's still a lot. But anyways, I'm totally digressing. I don't need to. The show's over. Tyler, thank you so much for submitting the question. A final reminder, guys. if you have comments or whatever and you're watching at youtube.com/homebrew happy hour, leave them in the comments below because it does actually help us with the algorithm. But if you have legitimate feedback too, we love hearing from you and we'd love to include it on the show. And if it's good enough that you're like, man, I could get a gift card for this, call it in to 325-305-6107 and I'll be the judge if it's good enough. Mr. Carlson, Mr. Burns, I sincerely appreciate y'all's time. Thank you for doing the show with me this week. Todd is going to Big Bend next week. I'm hopefully going to have an interview with Shiner some point soon.
Oh, can I tell a really quick story? Josh,
I love that.
You so appreciate this.
Yeah.
So they may have to close a basin down because of that water issue you told me about.
Yeah.
So I started looking at the trail going from outside of the basin into the basin from the outside.
Don't do it, dude.
And you were talking about how you were worried about me doing a 12-mile hike. What do you think about a
22?
Like a 16-mile hike with half of it through the desert? That's good, right?
Please don't. Please don't. Like, I know the shtick is I don't care about you because I don't. But no, but dude, don't die in the desert, Todd. You're young. Don't do it. The trail he's talking about, you'd have to park on whatever that road is past Panther Junction and hike on the flat desert floor and then do a monstrous elevation gain just to get to
3,500 feet of elevation gain on that trail.
To basically just get, well, I'm talking about just the elevation gain too, to get to the trailhead, to then do the elevation gain for the South Rim. Like you're nuts, dude. I hope they close the whole part down and you can't hike at all. I don't want to read about you.
It's the middle of winter, dude. I'm not gonna. I mean, what kills everybody in Big Bend is the heat in the middle of the summer. Trying to hike in the desert in the heat in the middle of the summer.
Good point. Fair enough. But the sun is still a thing. Just remember that. Take plenty of water. The sun still exists even if the temperature's not hot. The sun can kill you, Todd. And you are white. You're translucent. You're Casper the Ghost white. So look at him. He blended it. I could see the Munton sign behind your arm. Anyways, guys, I appreciate y'all's time. I'm going to wrap it up now. Todd, have a good trip. James, I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
And that will do it for this episode of the Homebrew Happy Hour. If you have a question you'd like us to discuss on a future episode, of course, you could go to homebrewhappyhour.com and use that submit a question link at the top of the page. Even better, have I mentioned you could call it in to 325-305-6107 and get yourself a gift card to kegconnection.com? Have I mentioned that? Have I? Thank you to our show sponsors like Munton's Malt, premium grains for a better brew day. If you aren't already using Munton's, give them a try by joining the Chub Club at a recipe receiving level. For the best hops available online, give our friends at hopsdirect.com a visit and pick up what you need for your next brew day. Also, get a pack of premium liquid imperial yeast along with delicious recipes from us when you join the Chub Club. One last time, I implore you to go to patreon.com/homebrew happy hour and come brew with us. A huge thank you to every member of our Chub Club. We could not do what we do without you. I'm Joshua Stubing. Thanks for listening.